The abyss greets you with absolute, suffocating silence. The slow, rhythmic rasp of air drawn from a tank. The steady, muffled thumping of your own heart against your ribs. All around you is a crushing, absolute darkness. It is a blackness so complete that it feels solid, a physical presence pressing in from all sides. Your light, a single fragile beam, cuts through the void, illuminating a swirling galaxy of tiny particles suspended in the water. It is a lonely universe, cold and silent. Down here, hundreds of feet below the sunlit world, you are utterly alone. The weight of the water above is immense, a constant reminder of how far you are from the air, from life, from safety. This is a place not meant for humankind. On January 8, 2005, this was the world of Dave Shaw. He was descending into one of the most dangerous places on Earth, a place known as Bushman's Hole. This was not his first journey into the abyss. Shaw was an expert, a man who understood the risks better than almost anyone. He was a technical diver, a pioneer who pushed the boundaries of what was thought possible. He had meticulously planned every second of this dive, calculated every breath, and prepared for every conceivable emergency. But the deep keeps its own secrets, and doesn't always adhere to the plans made by men on the surface. Shaw was on a mission, a noble and dangerous quest. He was not exploring for the sake of it. He was not there to set a new record or to claim a prize. Dave Shaw was descending to bring someone home. 10 years prior, another diver, a young man named Deon Dreyer, had vanished into the depths of this same cave. His body was lost to the crushing pressure and the eternal dark. On a previous dive, Shaw had made a startling discovery, stumbling upon Deon's remains by chance. Haunted by the image, he made a promise. He would return. He would recover the body and provide closure for a family that had waited a decade for answers. It was an act of profound courage and compassion. This final descent was the culmination of that promise. But as the sound of his breathing echoed in the deep, something was about to go terribly wrong. The plan, so carefully constructed, would begin to unravel. The darkness he knew so well would turn against him. Deep inside Bushman's Hole, Dave Shaw made his final descent. He was going down to retrieve the lost, but in a cruel twist of fate, he was on a journey from which he would never come back. The cave that had taken one life was about to claim another, binding two divers together forever in its silent, watery grave. To understand the story of Dave Shaw, you must first understand the place that claimed him. It is called Bushman's Gat, or Bushman's Hole, located in the remote northern Cape of South Africa. From the surface, it appears deceptively simple. It looks like a placid, unassuming pond, a tranquil pool of water surrounded by arid farmland. There are no warning signs, no dramatic cliffs to signal the danger that lies beneath. It is a quiet, almost serene spot, but this calm surface masks a terrifying reality. It is merely the entrance, the narrow throat of a geological wonder that plunges vertically into the Earth's crust, a sinkhole of staggering proportions. This is not a pond, it is a portal to the underworld. This is one of the deepest freshwater caves ever discovered. Its known depth exceeds 282 meters, or more than 925 feet. To put that into perspective, imagine a skyscraper the height of the Eiffel Tower submerged entirely underwater. For divers, it represents one of the ultimate challenges, a place often referred to as the Everest of diving. The pressure at the bottom is immense, over 28 times that of the surface. It is enough to crush a military submarine. The water is perpetually cold, hovering at a chilling 16 degrees Celsius, or 61 degrees Fahrenheit, relentlessly sapping a diver's warmth and energy over the long hours required for such a dive. The very act of reaching the bottom is an extreme undertaking, pushing the limits of both human physiology and technology. A diver must carry a complex array of equipment, including multiple gas tanks filled with specialized breathing mixtures. Standard compressed air becomes toxic at these depths, causing a debilitating condition known as nitrogen narcosis, which impairs judgment and motor skills, often described as a feeling of intense drunkenness. To counteract this, divers breathe a precise blend called trimix: helium, oxygen, nitrogen. But even this is a trade-off, as the wrong mixture at the wrong depth can lead to oxygen toxicity, causing violent convulsions that are fatal underwater. The greatest danger, however, is not the descent, but the ascent. A diver cannot simply return to the surface. Ascending too quickly causes these gases to form bubbles in the bloodstream and tissues, a painful and often deadly condition known as decompression sickness, or the bends. For a dive to the bottom of Bushman's Hole, the return journey is a grueling marathon. The descent might take only 15 minutes, but the ascent can require more than 12 hours of slow, staged stops at various depths, a lonely and dangerous vigil in the cold dark. Before Dave Shaw was a name whispered in awe and sorrow within the diving community, he was a man of the skies. Born in Australia, he built a successful and distinguished career as a commercial airline pilot for Cathay Pacific, based in Hong Kong. For years, his life revolved around checklists, flight plans, and the orderly, predictable world of aviation. He was responsible for the lives of hundreds of passengers, a duty he performed with meticulous professionalism and an unwavering focus on safety. His mind was trained to calculate risks, manage complex systems, and remain calm under pressure, skills that defined him both in the cockpit and later in the depths of the earth. Shaw was not a typical adrenaline junkie. Friends and family described him as quiet, humble, and deeply analytical. He was a thinker, a planner, a man who approached challenges with a steady hand and a methodical brain. His passion was not born from a reckless desire to cheat death, but from a deep-seated curiosity to explore places few had ever seen. The world of aviation, while challenging, became routine. The sky, once a frontier, had been mapped and tamed. Shaw, in his late 40s, began to search for a new kind of exploration. He found it in the silent, unexplored world beneath the water. His journey into diving began relatively late in life, but his progression was astonishingly rapid. He was not content with recreational diving. His interest was immediately drawn to the more demanding and dangerous discipline of technical diving. He applied the same rigorous discipline that made him an excellent pilot to his new pursuit. For Shaw, the two worlds were linked by a common thread: the precise management of risk in an environment where a single mistake could be catastrophic. For a diver of Dave Shaw's ambition and skill, all roads eventually led to one place: Bozeman's Gat, Bushman's Hole. Shaw first visited the site in October 2004. He was not just there to see it, he was there to push the known limits. He aimed to dive deeper on a rebreather than anyone had ever gone before. He descended smoothly, reaching a depth of 270 meters, or 886 feet, a new world record. But it was during this record-setting dive that something completely unexpected happened. As his light scanned the silty floor of the cave, it fell upon a shape that did not belong. There, resting on a ledge in the eternal darkness, was a human body. It was clad in diving gear, lying perfectly preserved in the cold, anoxic water. Shaw knew immediately who it must be. A decade earlier, a young 20-year-old diver named Deon Dreyer had blacked out and disappeared. His body was never found. He had become another ghost of the abyss. The discovery profoundly affected Shaw. He had gone down seeking a record, but had found a lost soul instead. As he began his long 10-hour ascent, his mind was no longer on his record, but on the young man at the bottom. He immediately sought out Deon Dreyer's parents, who happened to be at the dive site that day. He approached them with gentle gravity and told them what he had found. For Theo and Marie Dreyer, the news was a shock. For 10 long years, they had lived in a state of limbo. Shaw's discovery, while painful, offered something they had long given up hope for: the possibility of closure. This encounter solidified the promise Shaw had made to himself in the deep. He told the Dryers that he would try to bring their son home. It was a pledge made without hesitation, but one that carried an almost unimaginable weight. He was volunteering to perform one of the most dangerous underwater recovery operations ever attempted. The promise was made, and now the planning had to begin for a mission many considered impossible. The morning of January 8, 2005, broke clear and still. Final preparations began with solemn purpose. Finally, it was time. Shaw stood at the water's edge, laden with over 200 pounds of equipment. A final look with Don Shirley and the team. A nod, a thumbs up. With a quiet splash, Dave Shaw slipped beneath the surface and disappeared into the dark. As Dave Shaw began his descent, the world of sunlight and air vanished instantly. The plan proceeding exactly as rehearsed. He landed softly. He checked his computer. Depth 270 meters. The journey down had taken just under 15 minutes. Everything precisely on schedule. He knelt beside Deon Dreyer's body. But a problem arose almost instantly. As he tried to maneuver the body, a cloud of fine silt erupted. Visibility fell to near zero. The exertion at such a depth was immense. His heart rate climbed, and with it, his production of carbon dioxide. He was likely beginning to experience the early effects of hypercapnia. His judgment, his greatest asset, was beginning to be compromised. It was then that the next, and fatal, complication occurred. The thin, strong line he had brought down became unspooled. In the zero visibility and confined space, the line began to wrap around him. He was becoming entangled. The combination of extreme physical exertion, CO2 buildup, nitrogen narcosis, and the panic of entanglement created a catastrophic cascade of failures. In the footage, his movements become less purposeful, more frantic. The camera continued to record as his movements slowed and then stopped. The light flickered one last time and then went out. Dave Shaw had succumbed to the overwhelming power of the abyss. Up above, the minutes turned into 1 hour. The support divers held their positions, their hope dwindling with each passing moment on their dive computers. Don Shirley, positioned at the deepest support stop, knew something was catastrophically wrong. Shaw, his friend, was not coming back. The silence from the deep was absolute and final. The consensus was that a recovery was simply too dangerous. As the team prepared to depart, a strange and unexpected event occurred. The main ascent line was now taut, as if something heavy was attached to it deep below. As they pulled, a dark shape began to emerge. There, tangled in the cave line, were the bodies of Dave Shaw and Deon Dreyer. The cave, it seemed, had given them back. But with them came a piece of evidence: Dave Shaw's head-mounted camera. Its memory card held the final chapter. The story of Dave Shaw is one of immense courage, profound compassion, and the ultimate sacrifice. He was an explorer in the truest sense of the word, driven not by ego, but by a desire to push boundaries and venture into the unknown. His death was not in vain. In the end, his mission was successful. Deon Dreyer was returned to his family. Dave Shaw was brought home, allowing family and friends to grieve and honor him. The recovered camera footage provided invaluable, heartbreaking lessons, showing how quickly a manageable problem can spiral into catastrophe. Dave's final moments on film informed safety protocols and likely saved lives. Dave died doing what he loved, pushing human endurance. He also died for something greater, to fulfill a promise to a grieving family, an act of profound selflessness. In the silent, crushing depths of Bushman's hole, Dave Shaw found not just the body he was searching for, but the absolute limit of human endurance.